এবং পশ্চিমবঙ্গে আপনি যেটা বললেন যে তার বিরুদ্ধে লড়াই চলবে, বিজেপির বিরুদ্ধে লড়াই চলবে এবং সর্বভারতীয় ক্ষেত্রে মানে মানুষের মধ্যে বা কর্মীদের মধ্যে এই নিয়ে কি কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে যে কেন জোটে, ইন্ডিয়া জোটে আপনারা থাকলেন যেখানে মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় আছে?
अरे इंडिया जोटे আমরা দেখলাম কি গভর্নমেন্ট অফ ইন্ডিয়া থেকে বিজেপি কে ডিস্টেন্স করুন। इंडिया মানে আজকে যদি ইন্ডিয়াকে বাঁচাতে হবে, আজকে যদি আমাদের উপরে আমাদের কনস্টিটিউশনকে, আমাদের কনস্টিটিউশনাল অথরিটিসকে, পার্লামেন্ট থেকে শুরু করে পার্লামেন্ট, জুডিশিয়ারি, ইলেকশন কমিশন, সিবিআই, ইডি, এরা সবাইকে ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট নেচারে ওরা যদি কাজ করতে চায় তো বিজেপিকে গভর্নমেন্ট থেকে দূর রাখতে হবে, ওটা দিল্লি গভর্নমেন্ট থেকে। ওদের জন্যে আমরা বলছি কি যে যে রেডি আছে সবাই আসুন, মিলিয়ে ফার্স্ট লেট আস অ্যাচিভ দিস টাস্ক, সেভ ইন্ডিয়া। To save India, its constitution, its secular democratic character, BJP must be separated from the government and state power. Those who are willing to do that in Delhi come together.
ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গলে
ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গল ইন্ডিয়ার পার্ট তো, তো তার জন্য বলছে এখানেও বিজেপি বিরুদ্ধে যদি আসবার যারা আসতে চাই আসুন, আগে পরে কি হবে ও দেখা হবে।
Mr. Yachuri, last question. Actually, West Bengal,
as we call it in our party, Congress, what we call as a junior partner of US imperialism. And this is what, because of this junior partner status, because of this Cold War, the new Cold War that US imperialism wants to generate, in order to maintain its global hegemony, to strengthen the hegemony of US imperialism globally. In that Cold War situation, imperialism sees India as an ally and a very strong ally. And therefore, the success of the G20 summit that happened, success in the sense that there was a declaration. That is the only success. There is no other success of that summit. In the last Circle Committee meeting, we discussed it. That report will be there before you, I'm sure. I mean, it's already been decided and sent. You have the habit of translating it and giving it. Yeah. So later on only. So you get that. But in that process, why is Modi government doing this and abandoning the independent foreign policy India had scrupulously maintained for the last 70 years? Now, what is the reason behind it? And this is something we have to understand in a very clear manner. That why is India under Modi becoming an integral part of the US imperialist strategy for global hegemony, global domination? And why are we have been rid of imperialism? Now, behind this, if you want to understand the actual reason, apart from the ideological linkage between Zionism and Hindutva, apart from that, there is a big political ideological project that has been the RSS project for the very conception of India. That is unfolding under Modi today in a very dangerous manner. Now, what is this political ideological project? RSS argued, right, a century ago, in the decade of the 1920s, as I've always repeatedly said, but I think it must be. My wife is half Muslim and half Hindu, a Karnataka mother and a UP father. This is India. What will be my son? I'm born to a Brahmin caste. She's, my wife, I don't know what caste she is also. My eldest daughter married a British citizen of French origin. So what is India? If this India has to be kept united, only political structure would be a secular democratic republic. That was the mainstream vision that emerged, and that was the resolution that was adopted by the Karachi and later the Lahore AICC sessions, which became the foundations and basis for the Indian constitution. We, the communists, said what? We cannot stop there as a secular democratic republic. Unless we convert the political independence we get into the economic independence of every individual, this secular democratic republic itself cannot sustain. So therefore, yes, a secular democratic republic, but moving towards socialism. Socialism will have to be the final objective. As opposed to this, and third vision emerged, saying no, India should be defined by the character, its character should be defined by the religious affiliation of its people. Thus was born the RSS in 1925 with the slogan of Hindu Rashtra and the Muslim League that advocated an Islamic republic, which eventually led to the unfortunate division of our subcontinent. And this unfortunate division of the subcontinent, we are paying the price even today. That's a different matter. And you in Bengal, you must be very careful in that, because it's latent that communal thing within the Bengali. The worst of the communal carnage that took place, though more publicity is given for what happened in the western border, but the worst of the communal carnages that took place were on this side. And that's why Gandhi was not there on 15th of August 1947 at Red Fort, hoisting the national flag. He was here in your city, Calcutta, not this city, trying to stop the communal rise. And Noakhali is the recorded worst communal carnage ever. So in this sort of a situation, they said India should be a Hindu Rashtra. The ideological foundations were laid by Savarkar even before Jinnah, and the support of the Indian ruling. And the support of imperialism is what is now achieved by being the subordinate ally for the USA. And the support of the Indian ruling classes is emerging through the communal corporate nexus that has been formed, through what we are seeing in the Adani affair, through what we are seeing in the loot of India's national assets and being handed over to your private corporate sector, and what is being handed over to the imperialist capital or foreign capital. Even Tata's, after they took over Air India, when they placed an order for some hundreds of thousands of planes, immediately Biden calls Modi and thanks him. Order is placed by Tata's, a corporate, but Modi is called and thanked. Same, Macron also does that when some fighter planes were ordered from France. So for imperialism, Modi is generating a market also. Modi generates a market for imperialist corporate profits. He is a junior partner in the entire US imperialist strategy for global hegemony and domination. And in that process, he enlists the support of imperialism, enlists the support of the Indian ruling classes. And all the agri laws, the agricultural laws that he brought, were actually aimed at integrating Indian agriculture with corporate interests. In turn, the Indian corporates and the Indian ruling classes remain silent on the vicious communal agenda that is being pursued. And in turn, US imperialism, so-called great champion, the most hollow claim of US imperialism and most hypocritical claim of being champions of human rights, not one word from any one of these countries about the manner in which Muslims are hounded in our country today, in the manner in which Islamophobia is spread, in the manner in which very vicious, poisonous, anti-Muslim campaigns are being generated, conducted, calls for genocide against the Muslims openly going without any action being taken, and the hate speech reaching even the parliament, what we've seen in the last session. And it is to that extent that this polarization is being undertaken through such vicious campaigns of poisonous hate and violence. The private armies that have grown, the Gaurakshak armies that are given a governmental protection status and governmental authority in BJP ruled states like in Haryana. These Gaurakshak committees, they move around with the policemen, armed. And they are the ones that are creating this sort of a mayhem. Why is this polarization, apart from the entire ideologically motivated anti-Muslim thing? That is to consolidate the communal Hindutva vote bank. The consolidation of the communal Hindutva vote bank is the third step in this direction to enlist electoral support. So you have a deal with imperialism, you have a deal with the Indian ruling classes, and then they remain quiet when this communal polarization is sharpened in order to consolidate the Hindutva communal vote bank. And it is that Hindutva communal vote bank that gives you this the results in election that you're seeing, apart from all the other things, money power, misuse of machinery, misuse of the election commission, suspicions over the EVMs. I mean, apart from all these things, the basic thing is this consolidation of the communal Hindutva vote bank. So these steps, if you follow, now you know why India's character as being the great champion of the liberation movement. I have travelled, my generation has travelled on passports where it is printed, not valid for the Republic of South Africa and Israel. I have travelled also till the 80s, end of 80s, till the 90s. We attended the Moscow, youth festival with a passport where it said not valid for Israel. Now, that is, why you understand these three steps. The most important change, this is the political ideological battle, change the character of India and its republic. How do you change? Enlist the support of imperialism, enlist the support of the ruling classes, and then proceed to destroy the constitution, the constitutional authorities, and every fundamental pillar of the constitution. Now it is the left B, particularly CPIM, which is able to not merely see this whole picture, but understand and oppose them on all these crucial points and junctures. And that is why today many people say, why is CPM being given such a big position in this opposition conclaves and all that? They are very small in the parliament. Why the other parties have been accepted, who are their secular parties, is because of this understanding that this is what is happening in India, which you have to understand. What are the, as I said, at any point of time there will be multitude of contradictions. But what is the main one that is actually driving the force of history at that point? And that is this. And that is why, while the secular opposition uses the position, Mr. Bhagwat of the RSS also targets you, saying that the main enemy today for their realization of their vision is the left ecosystem. In his Vijayadashmi speech, last speech, he talks of the left ecosystem. He says this left ecosystem is infiltrated education, infiltrated media, and it is this that has to be targeted. So it is not the question of your electoral strength or not, it is a question of the power of the ideological alternative because that is the issue. When Karl Marx died, the New York Times had a three-line I mean, mentioned that somebody called Karl Marx died in page 9 or 10 of his paper. At the end of this last beginning, they said the most influential philosopher of the 20th century is Karl Marx, BBC survey. So it's not a question of that which point of time, what is your actual electoral strength or not, but what is the power of your ideological alternative. And it is this power of the ideological alternative that the RSS wishes to target. And that is why because we have to understand this very, very clearly, that in the process, what they are doing is destroying the foundational pillars of our constitution. And these foundational pillars